Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute little girl's dress. So this dress can be made in a number of different sizes, and for all of the information on how to make the different sizes, please see the description box below. So thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So to begin your dress, you want to start off by making a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, take your yarn and take your finger and wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through this space and pull tight. And there you have a slip knot. And now once you have your slip knot, we are now going to make our foundation chain. And for our foundation chain, we are going to chain 77. So chain 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 77. So I have just finished making my foundation chain of 77, and now we are ready to move on to round 1. So we are now on to round 1 of our dress, and to begin this round we're going to do 9 double crochets. So 9 double crochets, and we're going to do our first double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So here is the first chain from the hook, and here is the second chain, and into this chain we're going to do our first double crochet. So to do a double crochet, yarn over and go down into this chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 double crochet into that chain, and now we're going to yarn over and go down into the next chain and do 1 double crochet into this one, then do 1 double crochet into the next one. So there we have 3, and keep doing that until you have 9 double crochets. So I have just finished working those double crochets, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now into the next chain, we are going to do a double crochet, then chain 1 and then a second double crochet all into that same chain. So yarn over and go down into this next chain here and do a double crochet, then chain 1 and then yarn over and go back down into the same chain for a second time and do a second double crochet. So there we have double crochet, chain 1 double crochet all into that chain, and now we need to do 18 more double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 18 chains. So yarn over and go into the next chain here and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next one and 1 into the next, and keep doing that until you have 18. So I have just finished doing those 18 double crochets, 1 into each chain, and now into the next chain here we're going to do a double crochet, then chain 1 and then a second double crochet all into this next chain. So the same thing as we did back here. So yarn over and go down into the next chain and do 1 double crochet, then chain 1 and yarn over and go back down into the same chain again and do a second double crochet. So there we have double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into that same chain there. And now we're going to do 18 more double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 18 chains. So yarn over and go into the next chain and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next chain, and keep doing this until you have 18. So I have finished doing those 18 double crochets, and now in the same way as we have done before, into this next chain we are going to do a double crochet, then chain 1 and then a double crochet. So yarn over, go into this next chain and do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into this chain. And now we are going to do 18 more double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 18 chains. So go into the next chain and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next chain, and keep doing that until you have 18. So I have just finished doing those 18 double crochets again, and now in the same way as we have done a few times before, into this next chain we need to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So do a double crochet, then chain 1, then a second double crochet, all down into this next chain here. And now to finish off this round, we are going to do 9 more double crochets, or 1 double crochet into each of the next 9 chains. And you should find that that takes you to the end of the round. So do 1 double crochet into the next chain, and 1 into the next, and 1 into the next, and just keep doing that until you have 9. So I am just coming to the end of those 9 double crochets, and I have one last stitch to work. But whilst working this last double crochet, I am going to change colours. So I want the next round of my dress to be in a different colour. So I'm going to change colours now at the end of round 1, and then I will have my new yarn or my new colour ready to use for round 2. So I'm going to change colours at the end of round 1 whilst working this last double crochet. So yarn over and go down into the last chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops, just as you would with a normal double crochet. But usually we would yarn over and pull through these 2 loops here to complete the stitch, but we are not going to do that. We're going to stop here and drop the yarn that we are using, and then take our new colour. So I'm going with a white. Take your new yarn, place it over the end of your hook and pull it through. And then we have finished the round and the stitch and changed colours at the same time. And now you can fasten off, so cut the yarn that you were using, leaving a tail to weave in or work over later. So I'm going to cut this yarn, leaving a nice long tail. And now we're ready to move on to round 2. And if you didn't want to change colours, that is completely fine. Just work your last double crochet as the same as any other one. Just complete that last double crochet using the colour you were using, and then move on to round 2. So we are now on to round 2 of our dress. And to begin this round, you want to chain 1 and turn. And this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So to begin this round, we're going to start off by doing 1 double crochet into every single stitch until you get to this first chain 1 space. So you can see this is the very first chain 1 space of the round, and you want to do 1 double crochet into each stitch until you get to this first space here. So start off by yarning over and going down into this very first stitch here, as our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and I am going to work over my ends here from where I changed colours. So I'm going to work over them to save me weaving them in later. So work 1 double crochet into this first stitch and then do 1 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 into the next. And you can see I am still working over my ends, and just keep doing that all the way along until you get to the very first chain 1 space. So I have just finished doing those double crochets all the way along, and you can see I have reached my very first chain 1 space here. So I have done a double crochet into this last double crochet here, and now I have the chain 1, and we are going to go into this chain 1 space and do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet all into this same space. So yarn over and go down into this chain 1 space and do a double crochet, then chain 1 and then another double crochet all down into this chain 1 space here. And now we are going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch until you reach the next chain 1 space here. So yarn over and go down into the next double crochet here. So go down into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 into the next one and 1 into the next stitch, and just keep doing that all the way along until you reach the next chain 1 space from last round here. So I am just coming to the end of working those double crochets, so I'm going to do 1 last double crochet into this last stitch here, and now you can see I have reached the next chain 1 space here, and just like we just did, we're going to go into this space and do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet. So do a double crochet, chain 1 and a second double crochet all down into that chain 1 space. And now for the rest of round 2, we're just going to continue working that all the way around. We're going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch along up until the next chain 1 space here. So you can see this is the next chain 1 space from last round. So do double crochets all the way along until you reach this space, and then you want to go into the space and do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet all into that space. Then do double crochets all the way along, 1 into each stitch until you get to the next chain space here. So this is the last one of the round, and you want to go into that chain 1 space and do double crochet, chain 1 double crochet, and then you just want to do double crochets 1 into each stitch all the way along until you reach the very end of the round. So just continue to work that all the way around for round 2. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until I reach my next chain 1 space, and then into that space I'm going to do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and then just continue that for the rest of the round. So I am just coming to the end of round 2, so I have finished working that all the way around, and this is what you should have. And I have 1 last double crochet to work at the very end of the round here, but whilst working this double crochet I'm going to change colours. And now, just like before, if you don't want to change colours, that is fine. Just work 1 last double crochet into this last stitch as usual. But if you do want to change colours, then change colours now at the very end of the round. So yarn over, go down into this last stitch and start to work your double crochet, but then stop here right before the very last step. Drop the yarn that you were using and then take your new yarn or your new colour. So I'm going with a green. So I'm going to take my green yarn. So here I have my green. Place this over the end of your hook and pull it through. And there we have finished the double crochet and changed colours at the same time. And now we have our new yarn ready to use for next round. So now you can fasten off the colour that you were using. So I'm going to cut this white yarn, leaving a tail to weave in or work over later. And now we're ready to move on to round 3. So we are now on to round 3 of our dress. And for the next 5 rounds, so for rounds 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, so 5 rounds, we are just going to repeat round 2, so the round that we just did. So to begin each round you want to chain 1 and turn, and that chain 1 never counts as a stitch. And then you want to do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until you get to the first chain 1 space. Then into the chain 1 space do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Then do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until you get to the next chain 1 space. Then go into the space and do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Do 1 double crochet into each stitch along until you get to the next space. Do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into this one. 1 double crochet into each stitch until the next space. Do the same thing into this space, and then do double crochets all the way along, and then if you like, change colours whilst working the last double crochet at the end. So do that all the way around for round 3, then round 4, 5, 6 and 7. So we're doing 5 repeats of round 2, and you can go back in the video and re-watch that round as many times as you need to. So do 5 rounds until you get to the end of round 7. So I have finished working those 5 repeats and I have come to the end of round 7. So I have rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have changed colours at the end of this round 7 here. So this is what your dress should look like at this point once you have done round 7. And now we are ready to move on to round 8. So we are now on to round 8, and in this round we are going to be adding in our dress shape. So we are going to be turning our big loop, which we have here, into a dress shape. So to start off, you want to chain 1 and turn. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 never counts as a stitch. So now what we are going to do is we are going to do 5 double crochets, then 2 double crochets into the next stitch, all the way along until you reach this first chain space here. So this first chain 1 space from last round. So we're going to do 5 double crochets, 1 into each stitch. So go down into this first stitch here and do 1 double crochet. Then do 1 into the next stitch, 1 into the third stitch along, and the fourth, and you can see I am working over my ends here, and then the fifth. So there we have 5 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, and now into the next stitch here we're going to do 2 double crochets. So do 1 and then a second double crochet, both into this stitch. And just keep repeating that all the way along until you reach the first chain 1 space. 5 double crochets, 2 into the next, 5 double crochets, 2 into the next, until you reach the first chain space. So I have just finished working that all the way along, and I have reached my first chain 1 space here, and with our pattern of 5 double crochets then 2 into the next, you won't be able to complete that. So you can see I have 4 double crochets at the end here, but that is okay, don't worry about it, as long as you just work that pattern and then stop when you get to the chain space. So I have 5 double crochets, 2 into the next, 5 double crochets, 2 into the next, then 4 double crochets, but that's okay, just stop when you get to the chain 1 space. And now what we're going to do is we are going to go down into this chain 1 space and do 1 double crochet. So go down into the space and do just 1 double crochet, and then you want to stop here. So we're going to stop here and skip all of these stitches up until the next chain 1 space here. So you can see this is the next chain 1 space of the round, and we are going to go into this chain 1 space and do a double crochet. So we have done 1 double crochet into this space, so stop here, skip all of these stitches up until the next chain 1 space and go into this space and do another double crochet, and that is going to create our first armhole. So take your work, yarn over, go to the next chain 1 space here, insert your hook into this space, pull your work kind of together and do 1 double crochet. And there you can see we have created our very first armhole. And now what we are going to do is we are going to continue working our pattern of 5 double crochets, then 2 into the next, 5 double crochets, 2 double crochets into the next, all the way along until you reach the next chain 1 space here. So yarn over and go into the next stitch and do 1 double crochet, then do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and the third one, the fourth, and then the fifth. So there we have 5 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, and now do 2 double crochets, both into the next stitch. And then keep repeating that all the way along until you reach the next chain 1 space here. And by doing these 2 double crochets into every 6th stitch, we are getting a little increase, and that is going to make the skirt of our dress flare out a little bit. So do 5 double crochets, 1 into each stitch, then 2 double crochets into the next stitch until the next chain 1 space. So I have just finished working that all the way along, and I have reached my next chain 1 space here. And like I said before, it doesn't matter if you can't complete your pattern of 5-2, just go to the end as far as you can and then stop at the chain 1 space. And now into this chain 1 space, we're going to yarn over, go down into the space and do 1 double crochet. But now you want to stop here, so stop here and skip all of these stitches up until the next chain 1 space. So the next chain 1 space here, and then into this space we're going to do a double crochet, so just like we did before, and this is going to create our other armhole. So yarn over, skip all of these stitches and go to the next chain 1 space, insert your hook into this space and do a double crochet. Like that. And now we are just going to continue working our pattern of 5 double crochets, then 2 into the next, all the way along to the end of the round. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch, then 1 into the next, 1 into the third one, the 4th and the 5th, and then do 2 double crochets both into the next stitch, and just continue working that to the end of the round. So I have just finished working that all the way around for round 8. So I have done 1 double crochet into this last stitch at the end. And now before we move on to round 9, we need to join our work. So at the moment our work is open like this, but from now on I want our dress or my dress to be joined, and then we will just have this little opening at the back with some buttons to make it easier to get on and off. So to join your work, you want to take your work like this where you just finished off, and then take the other side and insert your hook into the first stitch here, so into the first double crochet of the round on the opposite side. Then take your yarn and do a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So work a slip stitch. And there you can see we have joined our work at the end of round 8, and now we're ready to move on to round 9. So to begin round 9, you want to chain 1 and turn, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now round 9 is very simple. We are just going to do 1 double crochet into every single stitch around. So yarn over and go down into this first stitch here and do 1 double crochet. Then do 1 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 into the next. And just continue this all the way around for round 9. 1 double crochet into each and every stitch. So I have just finished working that all the way around for round 9. So 1 double crochet into every single stitch around. And then to finish off this round, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked. So go into this first double crochet and do a slip stitch. And now we're ready to move on to round 10. So we are now on to round 10, and the rest of our dress is very simple. You just want to repeat round 9, so the round that we just did, again and again and again until you feel that your dress is long enough. So you can do as many rounds as you like. You could do 10 rounds, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's completely up to you, depending on how long you want your dress to be. So for each round, chain 1 and turn, and do 1 double crochet into every single stitch around, and finish off with a slip stitch into the first double crochet. So just keep repeating that round until you feel that your dress is long enough. So I have finished working all of those rounds for the length of my dress. So I have reached the length that I want. And then when I got to the very end, I fastened off, so pulled my yarn out and my hook and cut my yarn. So after I did my last slip stitch, I fastened off. And then I weaved all of my ends into the inside of my dress. And then on the back, what I did was I did a little row of double crochets up one side to create a border, and then I attached 3 buttons on the opposite side, and then I used the spaces in between the stitches as button loops. And I have finished. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. And in the description box below this video, I will leave a link to my Twitter account. So if you would like to go and follow me on there, I always like to post updates and pictures of upcoming tutorials. And I would love to see photos of your crochet work on Twitter as well. And in the description box, I will also leave a link to where you can find some of my written patterns if you are interested. And thank you again for watching. Bye!